The strangest thing happens after the grief, after the loneliness, after the purge. Life doesn't suddenly become easier. The people don't all return. Every unanswered question doesn't suddenly receive an answer. The world remains remarkably unchanged, yet somehow everything feels different. Not because life finally became safe, because for the first time you stopped needing it to. That is the beginning of home. You've spent your whole life searching for the relationship that would finally understand you, the career that would finally fulfill you, the place that would finally feel right, the version of yourself that would finally be enough. You called it purpose, you called it success, you called it love, you called it belonging. But beneath every search, there was only one longing. Where do I finally get to rest? So you searched in people, you searched in achievement, you searched in productivity, you searched in perfection, you searched in becoming someone worthy of arriving, never realizing the one thing you were searching for was never outside you. Now, look behind you. The grief of outgrowing. You thought you were losing your life. You were losing what no longer fit. When becoming cost your belonging, you thought love had abandoned you. It hadn't. Performance had. Then came the mirror. This season where reality began dismantling everything built upon misalignment. You thought your world was collapsing. It was only reorganizing itself. Every single chapter felt like an ending, only because you couldn't yet see they were all leading you here. This is what no one tells you. There is a reward for surviving yourself. Not money, not recognition, not endless happiness. Something far rarer. Your nervous system finally stops waiting for something to go wrong. You stop rehearsing conversations that haven't happened. You stop proving your worth before anyone has questioned it. You stop scanning the room for rejection. You stop earning what was never yours to earn. Not because you've mastered life, because you've finally stopped fighting it. Home is not finding somewhere new. Home is returning to your own body. For years, your body carried memories your mind couldn't make sense of. It braced for rejection before anyone spoke. It tightened before every goodbye. It confused familiarity for safety. It learned to survive, even when survival was slowly becoming suffering. But healing changes something profound. Your body stops becoming a battlefield and becomes a sanctuary. For the first time, you inhabit yourself instead of escaping yourself. Then something extraordinary happens. You stop confusing yourself. With every thought that passes through your mind, you stop believing. Every emotion deserves to become your identity. You stop reacting to every memory as though it happened all over again. You notice the fear. You notice the anger. You notice the grief. You notice the old story, trying to reclaim your attention. And instead of becoming it, you observe it. The emotion still arrives, but it no longer takes your identity with it. You realize you have never been the storm, but you have always been the sky that watched it pass. This is where the pieces begin to fit together. Suddenly, the past stops feeling like a prison. It becomes a map. Every betrayal explains a boundary. Every heartbreak explains a longing. Every disappointment reveals an expectation. Every fear reveals the place where love was once missing. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. Everything was shaping your perception, your choices, your relationships, your circumstances, not to punish you, but to lead you towards this moment of understanding. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And begin asking, what was this preparing me to see? That single question alone changes everything. Healing isn't the absence of triggers. Healing is recognizing them before they become your identity. You notice the trigger. You pause. You breathe. You observe. You allow it to move through you instead of becoming trapped inside of you. And every time you choose differently, your nervous system receives a new instruction. We are safe now. Again and again and again, slowly, the old beliefs lose their authority, not because you fought them, because you stopped feeding them. A new inner world begins to grow, one built upon truth instead of survival, one built upon love instead of fear, one built upon presence instead of protection. Perhaps this is what home has always been, not a destination, a relationship, the relationship you have with yourself, the place where your mind and your body, along with your soul, finally stop pulling in different directions, where your thoughts no longer dominate you, where your emotions no longer define you, where your past no longer imprisons you. Home is where every part of you finally knows it is safe to exist. This was why the grief had to happen. This was why belonging became expensive. This was why reality rearranged itself. Life wasn't punishing you. It wasn't testing you. It wasn't taking things away. It was removing every place where you had taken survival for home, until eventually there was nowhere left to run except inwards. So stop searching, stop proving, stop bargaining, stop performing, stop abandoning yourself to protect a version of life you've already outgrown. You crossed the grief, you survived the loneliness, you endured the purge, you stood before the mirror. Now come home, not tomorrow, not when you're healed enough, not when you're successful enough, now. Because everything you were searching for has quietly been waiting beneath every identity you released, beneath every relationship you outgrew, beneath every illusion that collapsed, beneath every version of yourself that had to end. It wasn't waiting at the finish line. It was waiting beneath your own awareness the whole time. You spent your whole life knocking on doors that were never meant to open, searching every horizon, hoping somewhere there was a place where you could finally rest, never realizing the door was never in front of you. It was always within you. And every chapter before this was simply life guiding you back to the place, to the only place that could never abandon you. You. Welcome home. Return to self. AKUALUX.